I'm going to start this discussion in the language learning community right now because I feel like it is something that needs to be talked about. And it is the addiction that you can get whenever you are learning a language. Because no one talks about this, but in reality, it's something that can happen. And I've talked with this with a couple of persons. This is especially true when it comes to Japanese. It can happen in whatever other language, it doesn't really matter. But I feel like most of the addictions that you get to language learning happen with people that basically learn Japanese. Why? Because these are people that basically are whips, and because they are whips, they watch anime. I'm not judging you, like literally was a whip too. So you know a bit of my story. I basically was a total different person like 3 to 4 years ago, and I was addicted to video games. And I played Rocket League, I played like all these type of games which are kind of competitive, right? The one I played the most was actually Rocket League. I actually watched TikTok for like 8 hours daily. As you can see, a picture of me here, bro. Like, I just wasn't a person that was disciplined. That is the truth. And because of learning languages, I actually got rid of my addictions. But like, how did I do it? Because I'm telling you, okay, like you can get addicted to these things if you learn a language the wrong way. But like, I'm telling you also that because of learning languages, I got rid of my addictions. And so I basically feel like if you're addicted to video games and you learn a language with video games, yeah, it's kind of difficult at the start, but at some point it's going to actually get kind of easy. And when it gets easy, you're still playing video games. You're still the same person, right? The same with Reels. There's people that watch Reels or watch, I don't know, TikToks because they want to learn a language really quickly because TikToks are addicting, even if it's in another language. Watching TikTok is pretty easy, even if you want to learn a language, right? Right? But like, there's going to be a point in which playing video games, watching videos, or watching short form content is actually going to get pretty easy. And that's when you need to actually change something, right? Because if not, you are just the same person, but now you know English, now you know Japanese. And this happens a lot with anime and visual novels in Japanese. That's why I say that these things are actually pretty bad, especially with porn. Like we all know, like you don't have me, like you don't need me to confirm you this, but like we all know that 99% of the anime, 99% of the visual novels, um, novels like novels actually are not that sexualized, but like anime and web novels and all of those things are actually pretty much sexualized, right? You know them, you know them. Even like pretty normal anime, which you will consider that it's not really sexualized, is actually pretty sexualized. Like just look Doctor Stone. Like even in Doctor Stone, there are literally some scenes which basically want the spectator to basically watch the thing and say, okay, like I want to basically fuck with this thing, right? Let's be honest, right? Even Doctor Stone, which is a pretty awesome anime, right? Even that thing. And so what I will tell you here is that at some point these things become easy. At some point reading a book, at some point watching an anime, at some point even like I will tell you read books when like as long as you want, but like that's another point. At some point watching video games, well, play video games, watch videos, watching short form content becomes easy, and that's when you need to do something else. That's why I don't really advocate anymore to learn languages with like a lot of videos. Although I feel like at the certain phases that can be pretty awesome because it's just like a more dynamic form of learning a language, which basically will not get you like that much burnout instead of like going into Excel and learning a language, which I feel like it's more efficient, way more efficient actually, but it's just way more boring and you can't really do it for like 10 hours daily, right? So that's some of the things that I feel that, for example, happened to me because when I was learning English, I basically literally was, bro, uh, I was watching, as I said, like 8 hours of TikTok daily, and I learned English with TikTok. But like at some point, my listening basically just got stuck because like it was just like, bro, you're just literally doing listening with TikTok, right? And yeah, even though I got to a pretty decent level with my listening in TikTok, like you can just advance to like so much by watching videos that are 1 minute long, honestly. And so that's when I started to watch podcasts. That's when I started to basically live playing video games, live like um, watching short form content, all of those things. And when I started to do that, I noticed that my attention span started to improve. I noticed that my concentration, which is basically the same thing, also started to improve. I had less brain fog. All of these benefits that basically helped me to become a more disciplined person. And also because I became a more disciplined person, I was already doing calisthenics and I became more disciplined in my calisthenics, right? Which is basically something awesome, right? You don't want to only learn a language probably, but like language learning is also a method for you to become a more disciplined person, a method for you to improve as a human being, right? That's what I think about language learning. I don't think that you only want to learn a language because you want to learn a language, which yeah, you probably want to, but like, what if you can also fuck? What if you can also learn a language but also become a totally different person in like 2 years? What if also instead of like just learning language, you can literally go to the gym while you learn a language, and you can even like learn a language while you go to the gym because you can literally do passive listening there, right? And so these are the things that basically made me change. When I stopped when I stopped watching TikTok, I basically became a more disciplined person. When I stopped playing video games just for the fun of it, watching videos about video games just for the fun of it, because I mean it was easy. That's when I became a more disciplined person. And now, even if I want to read something in English, if I want to even read something, if I want to watch something in Japanese just because it's fun, um, I just read in Japanese. I just read in English, right? And so that's why I have kind of stopped watching anime. I've kind of stopped like um, doing the things that were fun to me once, because like they're just getting like me to basically nowhere. Like watching anime always not going to make me improve as a person. You know that, but like reading a like novel actually doesn't do to you any freaking harm, unless it's like some type of like basically gross novel, which is basically just hentai, but like in a novel, that's it. And so that's a topic that I actually wanted to talk about, because like even with my Japanese, even though like I didn't have those addictions, um, when I was learning English, when I started learning Japanese, I noticed that because of doing so much immersion with my anime and with videos, not with videos that much. Like my YouTube doesn't really have any porn, my Japanese YouTube, but like when I started doing so much immersion with like anime, I noticed that my brain basically just started to think of anime as real life. Yeah, this is actually pretty fucked up, because if your brain starts thinking of anime as real life, well then if you see an anime character, you know, if you see an anime character that looks sexy, well then your fucking PP is going to think that that anime character is actually pretty real, and you know what comes next, right? And so that's something that happened to me too, and that's why I also stopped kind of like watching anime, honestly. There's some animes that I still think that are good. So maybe you want to watch Monster, maybe you want to watch like Intama, maybe you want to watch like, I don't know, Full Metal Alchemist, Hunter x Hunter, maybe, I don't know, a rom-com that is like Cross Game, something like that, which is basically a rom-com that doesn't really have any fan service. Like those kinds of things are good, I think. But like when it comes to like more to animes that are like more recent, animes that right now are basically being are airing, like it's just like they are coming up right now. Whatever type of anime that you feel is going to have some kind of thing that is sexualized, and so that's why I feel like it's just not healthy for you. And that's why I feel like if you learn languages the wrong way, which is basically the not disciplined way, in which you basically just watch content for like 10 hours daily, you can pretty much get addicted to these things. You can worsen your attention span, and because you will worsen your attention span, you will just not improve as a person. Maybe in 2 years or 3 years in time, yeah, maybe you know Japanese, but now but like next, what's it's going to happen. Like you're going to have a very short attention span. You're going to be addicted to porn, and maybe you're going to even like be watching reels. And so, yeah, you know Japanese, but you're still the same person. You know it now. You only know Japanese. And like, do you think that your wife or girl, the do you think that the waifu Japanese girl that you want to fuck is going to actually want you if you're addicted to TikTok, if you keep being addicted to anime or things of like? Actually, I don't think so. So that's it for the video. Be sure to give a like, subscribe, follow those things if you want more people to know about